Good morning. I hope you're all well and had a great weekend. And today I decided it is the middle of November, and it's probably time for a lot of us to reconsider how we manage stress. Yes, that old nice thing, that crazy thing called stress. So before I go any further, I just want to kind of say that I felt like I handled stress differently this weekend. I had a lot of technology glitches. They're still not resolved. But for me to be patient with myself when I needed to wait until Monday to solve some of those issues is fairly interesting because sometimes I could fret about the whole thing. But I got as much done as I could to make the repairs myself. And then luckily, I'm in Mountain Time Zone, so I just made sure I got up early this morning and was on the phone at 6 a.m. my time to connect with the East Coast support and to understand what the problem was. Now, it's still not resolved, but I've pinpointed it and had to go back. I will have to go back to my other company, and I've already put in the communications on that. So let's just talk about stress in general. There's 5 types. And if I don't finish this conversation today, I'm probably going to continue it tomorrow because stress has played such an interesting role in my life. First of all, many times we don't recognize that we're in the stress. It's kind of like the frog in the boiling water. You put the frog in cold water and you turn the stove on. As it slowly boils, you're in there boiling with it and you don't notice the temperature differences. Whereas if you had a frog and a pot of boiling water and you put the frog in the boiling water, that sucker's going to jump out right away. It knows the difference immediately. The line is very easy for it to see and it knows where it's crossing. So I think that's the challenge with stress. We don't even know that we are stressing. We don't know that we're wearing it on our bodies all the time. We don't know that it's interfering in all the places that it's interfering. So let's grow an awareness around stress, because this is what I get to do with everyone when I'm in a mentor situation. And by the way, I'm Marla Kopal. And you can work with me at successwithmarla.com. You just set a time for us to connect. And I have some free offers out there for you to take a look at and see if the area I'm playing in, which is online social media marketing and skill-based sales and posting and communications work. And I find that most often these 5 stressors are part of everybody's life when I come into them because, and how am I familiar with them? Well, I've been in every one of these situations and I've had to work myself out of them. Some of them were a little more dramatic solution than some might be able to take, but my awareness is very, very high around stress. And there's just a lot in our culture that provides us stress and we don't even know we are there. We are the frog in the pot of water that gets turned on and slowly starts to boil. So let's talk about the things we simmer about and simmer over. Time. How many of us think it is a badge of courage to always talk about how much time we don't have to do the things that we want to do or the things that we think we have to do? It's really a lousy conversation for you to be having. It adds stress of the crazy kind because you are putting deadlines on yourself. Then there's the deadlines of others. And my recommendation to you is very, very simply, when you create your to-do list, then you go to the ones, there's all sorts of ways to sort, but I think you really have to look at the deadlines. How many days do you have left to do it? How many hours, how many minutes? And at the point you're really in the push, shove, gulping air, holding your body tense, raising your shoulders like this to be stressed, it is time to sit down and say, whose deadline is this? Is it doable? Do I need to renegotiate the deadline? A lot of deadlines are renegotiable. Or before you take on a project for someone else, you have to ask, how set in concrete is this deadline? And then you need to have that as an awareness. Don't just take deadlines casually. If you accept a project with a deadline, then you've got to own that deadline. When you own that deadline, you will plan to that deadline. If you go, yeah, okay, it's a deadline, and you don't really plan it out how you're going to get there. Now, that's what a lot of project managers are for. Project managers plan time slots for you to get things done in. Well, I got to tell you, I'm really grateful for someone who, and her name is Shaniqua. She posted this the other day about attention deficit. She says many of us who are very highly creative and we run around and we make attention deficit our excuse. It's not necessarily our excuse. What's going on with a lot of people with attention deficit is they're creating ideas one after the other. There is a library, a bucket full of ideas up here. But until there's something about the deadline that forces them into choice. And when they are into choice, they're not making anything up from new. They've been like digesting, inventing, creating for days and days and days. And all of a sudden, when push comes to shove, they're able to get all of that to come out in the funnel and to produce the work. Now, I'm not saying everybody should work that way. Analytics don't work that way. Drivers don't necessarily work that way. And even storytellers don't work that way. But what I'm saying is if you are out there saying this is bad, you're adding more stress to your life. Own the style. So I have that style. And once I got calm with that, it made me understand that I was constantly busy. I mean, I'm talking about I wake up in the morning and I've already got 3 new ideas. I'm planning on which one would work, which one wouldn't. I kind of go down the road with them as far as I can in the creative mode up here in my head. And I'm, then it just sits there. And the day it comes in, it's amazing. If I'm writing an article, the title comes in, the storyline comes in, the 3 points I want to make come in, and I'm done. And so having written a lot of curriculum in my lifetime, that time thing was a deadline always, but I would get them as much out so that other people could train from it. But I knew when I was in the classroom would be the last final idea, and the tweaks would come when I'm in process of delivery. It was fascinating. I finally owned that was how I worked. And when I did that, my time issues got easier. I managed to the deadlines, and they didn't become burdens anymore. Now, did I feel a little anxiety? Like, would I pull it off this time? Yeah, I did, but I finally got over that. Now, good morning. So let me mention the 5 kinds of stress first. And if I don't finish them today, I'm going to come back in tomorrow and finish these up. We'll make this a part 1 and a part 2. So time is one type of stress. Encounter is another, and I'll describe this, but let's just put the word pre-worry out there. You're pre-worrying about something that might happen. Anticipation is you're worrying about an outcome and like, is it going to happen? Situational is where you get into fight or flight, like you meet somebody in the hallway at work, or you meet somebody online, and all of a sudden you're in that, oh my gosh, fight, flight, or freeze space, and very reactionary. And then there's another one called cortisol, where you have a consistent acceleration of adrenaline and you don't even know it. And I've been there, I've lived with that, and I know what I had to do to solve it, but it's not pretty because of what it's doing to your whole body and its health. So time. Don't necessarily go look at a time management class. That's probably going to stress you out. If you're already having issues with time, what you have to do is come back and look at what value are you bringing to the project? What are the strengths that you have? And where do you need to ask for help? Most often we get into trouble with time because we don't ask for help soon enough. So my encouragement on time is to go ask for input, help, support, run your idea by somebody before you get all hung up on what you can or cannot do in this time frame. Who can make your job easy? Encounter. This is about you pre-worrying about who you'll meet or how you'll look. Let's just say you're going to go to a networking event for the first time in your life. Or let's just say you've decided to do all of your marketing online and you will not do a video because you're going, oh my gosh, I'll look awful. I need a haircut. Can you tell I need a haircut? My gosh, I got out here. And with this white hair that I have, the light comes through it. And every once in a while, it looks like I didn't fix my hair. I fixed my hair. I hairsprayed my hair. But if I would stay off of a video because of my hair, oh my gosh, I'd never get out there. So I have kooky hair. I can be kooky. So quit worrying about what the hell somebody's going to think. If they've got an attitude about how you look, how you speak, then they're not your people anyway. You're not going to please everybody. What you're here to do, if you're in marketing, is you're here to attract the people that want to work with you or want what you have. So to me, the encounter that you want to set yourself up for is attraction. How are people going to be attracted to you? Don't worry about going in and how you're going to look. Look for the people who want to be attracted to you, knowing full well, let's say it was 25% of the human population that could be attracted to you. That's a pretty big number, right? So quit worrying about the other 75%. Find the 25% that fits for you. If you think it's only 10%, then find that 10%. Because the value is in what you offer. The value is not in the number of people you know. And so this brings me to the last point I want to make on encounter. And I'm going to have to cover the other three: anticipation, situational, and cortisol tomorrow. So when people are out there trying to create attraction online and they're pre-worrying about, will this post work or that post work? Well, I got to tell you, the post that's not going to work is always the one that's about the specials you have. There's a point at which you have to be you and your product has to be your product, but you can't hide behind your product. If you're always putting your product up and expecting people to like your product and then therefore like you, well, you've just missed the true encounter. The encounter is person to person, person to person. So quit pre-worrying about what's going to happen when you walk into the room with strangers, or you walk into Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn with strangers. What you have to do is to have a strategy, and I have those strategies for you. And so you can rewatch this video on YouTube under Marla M. Copal. Just subscribe, and you can go back and review these. I'm going to continue this tomorrow, because I really think that at the end of every year, you want to review what have your stressors been and how many of them can you leave in this year before you take them into the next year. So let's not repeat things that have been ruining your health, ruining your energy, making you irritable around other people. Whatever it is, you want to show up as a powerful you, as an in charge you, and it is really, really time to get a handle on your stressors and how they're influencing what's not happening in your life, how they're influencing what is happening in your life. And if either one of them are losing your money, then you want to look at both. So let's get in touch together. Just hit successwithmarla.com, type it into your URL, and I'll show up. And there's an opportunity there for you to schedule some time with me. And let's just see if I can help. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.